everybody, and welcome into another episode of the PHNX Suns podcast. I'm Lindsay Smith. That's Saul Bookman. That's Espo. Gentlemen, happy Tuesday. How you doing today?
Doing just fine.
It's like a Monday for you, and yesterday on the show, I started off by saying it was Wednesday, so who the hell knows what
So you
day
feel
of the
like
week
it's
it is.
Thursday?
I don't
So
know.
it's actually a nice sandwich of a Tuesday.
Yeah,
That works out really well. Yeah, absolutely. Well, coming up here in just a bit, we are going to be joined by Toumani Camara, the newest member of the Phoenix Suns. There will be a press conference held a little bit later.
The best TC we've ever had.
Oh,
No,
poor
no,
Craig.
okay.
We've actually had a lot of TCs.
I was actually
now
a
that
little
you
bit
think
I know
about
the
it.
other one you're talking about.
Besmirching of Tom Chambers.
But now
Clearly
that
a
you
joke.
mention it, there's quite a few of them, right?
There probably is.
Name one other one.
I don't know, but there's probably another
You
one
said
in
it,
there.
so I want to hear it.
Close
Now
enough.
I'm going to spend the whole show
Thinking
racking
about
my
another
brain of
TC.
Suns that were TC.
Yes. Gerald Bourget is not here with us today because he's out at the facility getting ready to talk to Toumani Camara
Actually,
after we talked to him.
he actually
we got
tweeted
dibs.
he didn't want to be here anymore. So
That's what he said?
while he was getting his haircut.
Oh, really? He was at the salon?
It was his fiance getting her hair.
Oh,
cut.
that's
Get-
right. That's
Yeah,
Get the
yeah, yeah.
story
My bad.
right.
He didn't want to
my
be
bad.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, women's haircuts can take a really long time.
Oh, I
I wouldn't
know.
want to sit there
I
through
wouldn't.
that.
I
To
either.
this day,
definitely
he
wouldn't want
stayed. Eric Bledsoe stands by that. I don't know that I believe it, but he stands by it.
Oh, here we go. The chat came through.
Hey,
Ty Corbin, Tyson Chandler.
Nice.
How did
Thanks,
I
Triple B and Icon. Appreciate you guys.
How did I forget Tyson Chandler?
Yeah.
He was
I know,
there when
right?
I was there.
How dare you,
Exactly.
guys.
And Ty Corbin, wasn't he a coach for a while?
He
Yeah, he
was.
also was a player.
Yeah, that's what. So we had two stints, and shame on us.
I should probably just hand in my fandom card now.
I know,
That's pretty
right?
embarrassing.
Well, we have a lot to get to. Anything off the top while we wait for Toumani Camara to join us?
I'm
That
thrown
is
I'm thrown off by his hat.
It's a
why.
Phoenix Giants.
I know it's a Phoenix Giants hat, but it looks like a Pittsburgh Pirates hat in orange, so it's a little bit of it's a little
You know
there's
me, big Pittsburgh guy.
Stranger things have happened on this show, Espo. It wouldn't surprise anybody.
We have
at this
people in
point.
here that are Seahawks fans,
Yeah, I mean,
which is really, really just tragic.
Yeah, look, I've been to Pennsylvania once in my life. That was enough.
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah,
Was it enough
it
for
was
you
enough.
guys? Are you guys looking forward to Summer League?
I'm
That's
looking,
coming up right around the
It's a week
corner.
from
First of
Friday.
all, I'm looking forward to two things.
Okay.
Number one, I've seen how everybody acts in Vegas, so
Mhm.
I got that out of the system, and it's fun. It's good. So the two things I'm looking forward to is this guy getting some OGs again.
Okay.
That's going to be fun. And number two, watching the shock on Emma's face when she watches how we do Vegas. It's awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Emma's now old enough to join us in Vegas. So
I
that'll
know.
be fun.
This is great.
What exciting times. I saw on Instagram that apparently there was like a slot machine tournament that
How
goes on.
How
Did
do
you
have
see
a
this?
tournament with slot machines? There's no
So,
skill in it.
It's just like, I don't know if there's a certain amount of money that everyone puts in, and then you just keep betting like as fast as you can. And then whoever wins the most at the end wins the game or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but it kind of felt like a mix of gambling on the slots and video games. And I was kind of here for it, to be honest. I feel like it could be really fun.
Speaking of which, I completely forgot to mention this. When I went to go see my son graduate out in Shreveport, Louisiana, we were staying at a casino. And as I was walking out, somebody hit a jackpot for 75 grand. And I've never seen one of those slots hit a jackpot ever. And that woman was losing her mind. It was
Oh,
the
I
coolest
can
thing I've ever
imagine.
seen. It's pretty dope.
That would be so fun. Maybe Shane will hit a jackpot on the Panda slots this year in Summer League. All right, everybody. Our special guest is here. The newest member of the Phoenix Suns, Toumani Camara, now joins the show. Toumani, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We're good. We're happy to have you here. Listen, I'm sure the last couple of days have been an absolute blur for you, but take me through what it's been like. How was the draft and the following days after that?
It's been exciting, crazy. It's like a dream coming true. So, I mean, it's still, I can't really fully imagine. I mean, picture myself in a jersey and everything. It's still crazy to me. But yeah, happy to finally be here and ready to get to work, really. Just exciting.
You got a versatile skill set that I know the Suns love about you defensively, and really the biggest thing is also your development offensively, mainly from the three-point area. When did you really start to think about, I need to improve this so that way I can play at the highest level, and make sure that there's no doubt that you can play at the highest level?
I mean, I think you guys know better than everybody else. Is like the game is changing a lot. A lot of threes is being taken, so I feel like it's every year there's something I want to work on my game, better myself on, and I feel like looking at today's NBA and looking at the thing that I really needed to improve my shot, it was definitely probably the main thing that I wanted to adjust and really be more consistent with. So I think I made a lot of progress with that. I feel like I still have a lot of room to grow towards that. And, yeah, I think it only can get better from here. So.
Walk us through draft night for you. Not a lot of guys that wind up in the second round are there in New York, but why was it so important for you to be there, and who was there along with you?
Man, I'm a young kid from Brussels, Belgium, man. It's not a thing that a lot of people can say, that hear your name called in the NBA draft. So I feel like if I had the opportunity to get drafted, I really needed to have the chance to put the hat on and walk down up those steps and shake the commissioner's hand. So, I mean, it means the world to me. It means the world to my country to be able to accomplish this goal. So it was definitely something I wanted to go through, especially with my family. Like you said, like my mom and my brother got a chance to come down and then spend some time with me and spend that experience with me. So it was just an amazing experience, and glad they were here for me. So,
What was their reaction like?
I think it's disbelief. I think it's kind of like how I was. It's like I said, it's not something a lot of people in our country back home are able to accomplish. So being able to see them so happy, something they've been following me my whole life. It was a grind not only for me, but for my mom. Let me leave at 16 from the house and everything, and for my brother being by himself. So I think it's something we all had to go through, and I mean, it was amazing experience, amazing feeling for everybody.
One of the coolest things I think you're about to experience here with this franchise is that you got 3 elite shooters and 3 of some of the best players that have ever played this game alongside you. When you finally took some time to realize that you got drafted by the Phoenix Suns and you sat back and thought about what was about to happen, how did that make you feel?
Like I said, excited. I already know the roles are really like set in stone with those guys. So I know like I can come in being a role player and be able to do my job and just kind of like offensive end, not really have to rely on a lot. I feel like just being able to play my game and just trust the system, trust the coach and everything. I think I'll be able to fit in pretty good. Especially it's a pretty big veteran team. So me myself being 23-year-old, I feel like I'll be able to fit in pretty good. And just excited, like I said. I just can't stop smiling for the past week. So
Hell yeah.
I mean, you mentioned you're a kid from Belgium, but at what point did you go, this dream of basketball and doing this professional is real? I want to go. I want to go fully into this.
when I was 14, I think that's when I really wanted to start taking basketball more than just a hobby. Just trying to take it to the next level, trying to be a pro one day, and just give me the best chance possible to get to the league. I didn't. I know it was a dream. I know it was something I wanted to do, be able to play in the NBA, but I didn't know how possible it was for me, how achievable was that goal. So, just all I wanted to do is put myself in the best position, closest situation possible to the NBA, and here I am today. So I'm just happy for all the decision I made and just excited for all that.
I got to ask this question just kind of based off of that. When's the first time you dunked on somebody and how did it feel? And who was it? And who was it?
Who was it? I'm not gonna say who was it. First time I done somebody was probably in high school. Probably sophomore year of high school. No, junior year of high school. Probably. That's when my athleticism. I started feeling more comfortable with my body, and my jumping skills started going up and everything. So, yeah, probably junior year.
Is there one guy you're looking forward to trying to dunk on in practice? I mean, you got a large list of big names. Is there one you hope to get to dunk on?
Don't answer that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm willing to try on anybody. Really, it's just the mindset of playing hard. I feel like, but yeah, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be a lot of good guys in my team. So we're gonna see.
It'll be a lot of fun. Hey, listen, we're all really excited for Summer League, and hopefully that will be our first opportunity to get to watch you play. Are you planning on playing at Summer League?
Oh yeah, that's my plan. That's my goal. There's still something I need to finish up, but I think I'll be there for sure.
All right. I got to ask, your Twitter handle is Too Many Buckets.
Yes,
Is there
sir.
such thing as too many buckets?
No, it's just a fact. So it's not. It's just so many. It's so many of them. It's not that there's too many of them. It's just there's a lot of them.
Do you have a favorite nickname? I mean, fans love to gravitate towards that. So before they give you some dumb nickname, what are the ones you prefer?
A lot of people call me Two. I think that resonates to me pretty easy, and it also helps a lot of people not to mess up my name. So I stick with Two.
Gotcha.
Speaking of 2, do you know what number you're going to wear yet, or what number you would like to wear maybe?
I'm gonna keep a little bit of surprise for the people back home, but it's coming out soon though. It's coming out soon.
Okay,
Awesome.
making us wait. I see.
You mentioned, the 2 nickname to help people pronounce your name. What's the worst pronunciation of your name you've ever gotten?
One of them is Toumani. I don't really understand how people can read that like that, but I feel like my name is free. Like if you read it, like take your time, like it actually makes sense how you have to pronounce it. So, but it just looked different, original. So a lot of people not used to read that. So, yeah.
I've actually messed up your last name a couple times. Never the first name. I've messed up your last name a couple times. I'll admit it. So
No,
We're
it's
getting
okay.
there, though. We promise we'll be better tomorrow. Toumani, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time. Listen, we have quite a few people here live with us right now in our chat who are so excited to have you in the Valley. Just to wrap things up, what's your message to them about how happy you are to be here and what you're looking forward to?
Just get excited with me. I think it's gonna be a great season. A lot of good pieces coming in, so I'm ready to get to work, and you won't be disappointed. I'm a hard worker. I'm a winner, so I'm gonna give it my all the time. So let's get to it. Let's get to work.
which guy on your roster are you looking forward to most to playing with? There are a lot of big names, probably guys you watch. Is there one guy on that roster you're super excited to play along?
Actually, Beast might be Umbo. It's a funny story because he did a camp back home when I was in Belgium, and I was like probably 12, 13 years old, and it was my first NBA player that I ever met. So it means a lot to me that I was able to be in a team with somebody I look up to as a kid. So, I mean, yeah, probably.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Love that. All right. Well, thank you so much. I know you've got a couple more media things you got to take care of. Our fourth co-host, Gerald Bourget, will be out there talking your ear off then. So enjoy having that time with Gerald and the rest of the media in Phoenix. And once again, welcome. We're so happy to have you here with us. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
We'll
Thanks,
see you
Toumani.
next time. Also, everybody, don't forget, follow him on Twitter. Too
Yeah.
many buckets.
Too
Dude,
many
he's-
underscore buckets. You gotta get it right.
I'm a sucker for a well-dressed man, or well-dressed person, I should say, because women are man. They're well-dressed. That's a high bar. And he has a nice personality. He's got a big, bright smile. Like, he's a good-looking kid, and I hope he looks good on the court too.
Yeah, he seems like a really cool kid.
I love the personality too. It's easy going. Sometimes, and maybe it's just as you become a pro and you get callous to talking to people like us, but you don't get that genuine feel. And I love that about him.
Yeah.
It's just that genuine feel. Seems really excited to be part of it. And I loved his answer about why he went to the draft. I mean, being a kid from Belgium and doesn't want to miss that opportunity. I think a lot of people take things for granted, especially moments like that. Love that he didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those memories that you'll never forget. And one of those things where not a lot of people get to actually partake in it. So when you have an opportunity, you have to take advantage of it.
I felt bad. I didn't want to break his heart and tell him that wasn't the commissioner. That was the assistant commissioner.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. To him, it was the commissioner.
Yes.
That's all that matters.
Also, shout out to ____ for the super chat. I don't know what to say for this name. Is it just line?
Yeah.
We're going to
just
look just line.
Underscore.
But they said, what nicknames do you have so we can use them? Espo, good on you for asking that question. And apparently it's just 2.
True.
I
That's
like it. It's simple, to the point, And there's so many puns that we can use if we wanted to.
Yeah, I like somebody already in there is like too fast, too furious.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Once he dunks on somebody in summer league, that'll be fun. I also like he doesn't get Toonami, which is a Cartoon Network reference that a lot of people make, I'm sure. So
yeah, I didn't understand that.
I didn't get that either.
But Gerald Bourget is out at the facility right now. Who's next up to talk to Toumani Camara? Gosh, now I'm struggling.
Toumani.
And I know that's the
Toonami.
I know
He said it, and now you can't get it out of your head.
Well, you just said it again, and now it's gonna screw me up. Yeah, because you said it was a cartoon reference.
Yeah, Toonami is.
I know, and that's what I just said.
That's why you just
Toumani Camara.
By the way,
Anyway,
can I pull back the curtain a little bit?
well, hold on. Gerald's gonna have an article on GoPHNX.com. Okay, now you can go.
Okay, he'll have multiple articles over the next few days. So become a diehard, subscribe, and you will love reading everything that Gerald has to offer. So, anyways, let's pull back the curtain a little bit. As Saul is sitting there talking about a good-looking man, Toumani is still on the screen, hears it, and gets a giant smile when Saul said he was a well-dressed, good-looking man.
That's why I was freaking out.
I thought he was gone.
No, he was still like he could still hear us, and he was sitting there, and then he heard you say "well-dressed man." His smile got so big, and then when you said a well-dressed smile, he like pointed and was like, "Man, it was the cutest thing ever."
That's awesome. Yeah, suck it, chat. Making fun of me for saying he's a good-looking kid.
Well, now you're his favorite. I have Frank. You have Toumani.
Hey,
there you go.
It's a light skin
That's
thing.
sweet.
Let's go. #light skin.
Aww. He seems like a sweetheart.
That's awesome.
I'm really
That's awesome.
excited for him, and hopefully we get to see him at Summer League, get to know his game and just his personality a little bit more. But first look, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
First people in the valley to talk to him too. So
Yeah, let's go.
there you go.
That was awesome. Like, again, I do love how when you first get these professionals, when they first get to this level, like Espo said, like that's usually when you get them at their most like raw. They haven't been jaded by the system. They haven't been, coached up in the professional PR ranks. Like you get them as natural as you're ever going to get them at this level. And so I loved his responses. I thought the Bismack thing threw me for a loop, because a lot of people would have said, KD, Book, Beal, but he said Bismack, and because of that story, and which is like, I want to text Gerald and be like, hey, just so you know, that's really cool.
Yeah, I love when you get those kind of stories, and I'm very disappointed that you told him not to answer the who he wants to dunk on. We were gonna get. I want to posterize Kevin Durant, and you saved the kid.
We're not trying to set him up for failure.
Because all I can think about was Elie Okobo in his rookie season going up against Devin Booker in one-on-one drills at the end of practice, and Devin was relentless. And I just was like, damn, Elie. Like, Ellie, I felt so bad for him. I was like, I don't want that to happen to this kid right off the bat. Let's just let him dunk on somebody and talk a little shit on his own, and then let it happen.
But wasn't it Aaron Holiday last summer that told us that he wanted to dunk on Devin Booker?
No, it was Washington.
Or that was right. That was Dwayne Washington Jr.
Yeah.
wanted to
Which
dunk
that was
on
honestly
Devin.
a really cute
That
answer
was cool
too.
because he like winked.
It was. That was a super cute answer.
By the way, somebody in the chat said we have Joxpo, and now we have Salmani.
Hey,
So
I'll take that.
Stoner Kitchen saying that. So.
Look at this. We got so many couple names.
I
Look at
prefer
us. Who'd have
Frank
thought?
Spo.
Frank Spo?
Because Jock just has turned his back on me too many times.
Oh,
Well, that's probably because so did you.
Honestly, I
You're
blame.
playing both sides over here, acting like you're the
Espo,
victim.
you're not
Sir,
loyal.
you
I blame-
started this
You're not
drama.
loyal.
I blame the country of Australia for sending me a 4 extra small Jock jersey. That started the beef. So
I feel like
The
that
whole
was user
country.
error when it came to reading the
I
description
may or
of
may
the
not
item.
have confirmed that, but I'm still not letting the Australian jersey company off the hook.
I'm just saying. All right. Well, listen. The BetMGM Sportsbook app is one of the best sportsbook apps out there.
There
If
we
you
go.
have not signed up for the BetMGM Sportsbook app yet, make sure you download today and use that bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live, but for our Arizona audience, Place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses with BetMGM. Again, make sure you use that bonus code PHNX. You can check out the show notes for full details, and now you can listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Disclaimer, 21 plus to wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan.
Hi, friends. Espo back here to talk to you about my friends at Manscaped.
Oh no.
Yeah. What kind of balls do you have? Do you have shiny ones? Rubbery ones?
Spotted ones?
Oddly shaped ones? Tiny hard ones? Oblong leathery ones? Hard plastic ones?
Oh my gosh.
Ones that aren't even around?
By the way, the small plastic ones are called nutticles.
Oh,
just so you know.
Nutticles. Do you have nutticles? Well, no matter what you have or what kind of thing you carry them in, Manscaped's got you covered with the Lawnmower 4.0. You can take care of downstairs like nobody's business. No nicks, no cuts, nothing that you have to worry about. It's that easy with the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 and the Weed Whacker. If you got weird nose hairs, we'll take care of you there too. Just remember, you get 20% off and free shipping with the code PHNX at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code PHNX at manscaped.com. Having the right tools for grooming is essential. Do yourself and your man a favor. Help him upgrade his self-care no matter what kind of balls he has.
Great job, Espo. Actually, that was probably one of my favorite Manscaped reads.
It was the most PG one he's ever done.
It was still funny, but it was like not cringe.
I didn't know what he was tossing me either, so that was part of the random nature of the ad. I had no idea.
I really ain't mad at that one at all. Hey, listen, we also had another special guest stop by to share more about Toumani Camara. So take a listen to this.
Welcome in the PHNX Suns show. I'm Espo, he's Saul, and we're very excited to have a special guest, the head coach of the Dayton Flyers and a man who knows the Suns' second-round pick, Toumani Camara, very well. It's the head coach, Anthony Grant. Thank you so much for joining us, Coach Grant.
My pleasure, guys. My pleasure. Good to be with you.
I know you were out there at the draft, and what was it like for Toumani to get selected? How did it feel for you as his head coach to be there and be part of that?
It was terrific. You know, I think just as surreal when you look at his journey. You know, he came over to the United States from Belgium. I think he was maybe 15, 16 years old with a dream of playing in college and maybe one day playing in the NBA and having his name called. And to see him be able to get to that point on draft day, his mom, his brother flew in from Belgium. He had close friends and family from Florida join him there, and just to see everybody come together, you know, to celebrate him on that night, and then just his reaction and his joy at seeing his dream come true. I think the realization that his hard work had really paid off for him, and then the fact that he was going to an organization like Phoenix, and then being in that situation where I think it's a great fit. I think it's a great opportunity for him. I think he couldn't ask for any more. So I think the feeling I would, or the word I would use to describe his feelings would be gratitude. You know, I think appreciation. I think he understands the opportunity that he has, and I think he's put the work in. So I'm excited for him. I think it's going to be a great fit.
I'm not sure if you know this, but the Suns have a few shooters on the team with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. It's just a few, and Bradley Beal now. Yeah. But defensively is kind of where Toumani really made his name, I think, at least from the Suns' perspective, and his versatility. Can you speak to how dynamic he is on the defensive end and what he was able to do for you and how you think it'll translate to the Suns?
Yeah. You know, I've said this probably for over at least a year and a half, that I think he's probably one of the more underrated and versatile defenders that I've seen in college basketball in years. I think his ability at 6'8", with his athleticism, with his agility, with his instincts, he's as versatile as you can get. I remember, when I was in OKC, we had a young man named Andre Roberson, who was, a guy that in college probably, was probably more of a forward. In the NBA, he played guard, but he could guard 1, 2, or 3, and in some cases the 4, just because of a lot of those things. And I see Toumani as being a bigger, stronger, more athletic version of that. I think Toumani will be able to surprise people with his offensive skills as well. I think he right now obviously needs to continue to develop consistency with his shooting, but I think at 23 years old, he's not a completed package yet. I think he's going to be able to add some things to his game that I think will have him in the league for a long time. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what I think he's able to bring walking in the door. As you mentioned, when you look at your roster and what you have, a guy like Toumani is a guy that can come in and doesn't necessarily have to have the ball in his hands to be effective offensively. He's a dynamic cutter. He's got a high basketball IQ. He's going to understand how to play in concepts and how to play with other great players. And I think he's going to be able to do some things that's going to help from an offensive standpoint. But certainly, I think his calling card will be his versatility, his toughness on the defensive end.
When Toumani joined your program, he'd been in college basketball for a few years, and you had a very young roster, if I'm correct. What was his leadership like for your team, and how do you think that helps him as he transitions to the league?
Yeah, great question. I think, walking in the door, as you mentioned, we had one of the youngest teams in the country when Toumani transferred. So he was actually our most experienced guy, having played 2 years of college basketball. And we got to think, we're talking about right around the pandemic time, a second year of coming out of the pandemic there. And so, I asked him to help with the leadership in terms of being the most experienced guy on our team, that we were going to need him to assume that role for us. And he really embraced it, along with, at the time, being new to us, having to learn our system, our terminology, us having to learn him and how to help him become the best version of himself. He really embraced it, and then that second year, something I typically would do on a team was I asked all the guys, hey, listen, I need you guys to anonymously, individually tell me who you would select as a team captain and why. And to a man, they all chose Toumani, right? And it was a variety of different reasons, from just the trust they had in him to their willingness to follow him based on the example he set every day with how he came prepared in practice and games, his approach to the game. They looked up to him. I think he was a guy that, to a man, they were willing to say, okay, this guy, I'm willing to allow him to hold me accountable, right? And I need him to be able to do that because of how we view what he does. So I think it was a great testament to him to hear that from your teammates, right? Like, as coaches, we can look at it one way and the team could be thinking completely different. But I think we were in lockstep in terms of what he provided. And I think he did a great job for us throughout the year, especially considering, some of the adversity that hit us throughout the year, with the injuries we had to face and the different lineups that we had to face night in and night out. And he was able to be that steady guy for us night in and night out, that was able to impact winning. And some nights that was, grabbing 14, 15 rebounds. Some nights that was scoring 20-plus points, and some nights that was getting 4 or 5 shots, and, like we have a saying, there are certain nights where, offensively, it may not be your night, right? And what you think you do well may not be going well. Can you still play well? And Toumani always played well, no matter whether or not his shots were falling. He was able to impact winning. And I think that translates no matter what level you're at when you can impact winning. And he does it in a variety of ways. So I think it'll be a great addition to Phoenix, because I think the things he does will translate to that next level and be able to help Phoenix win.
You mentioned it a little earlier in terms of just adding to his game and trying to figure out new ways to impact the game. 3-point percentage is obviously one of those things that a lot of NBA teams are looking at. He's got the defensive acumen, but now he's trying to work on that 3-point shot. Was that something he initiated, or is it something that maybe as a program you guys kind of took a look at? And how has his work been towards that goal in terms of being a more proficient 3-point shooter?
Yeah, so I think walking in the door, him understanding who he was as a player, right? I think if you talk to Toumani, he'll tell you. I think one of the biggest things that he was able to get here is to figure out who he was as a player and what his strengths were, right? And I think from the time he walked in the door, that first semester, trying to figure out what he did well and how to impact the game, and then you saw a transformation in the second half of the season in terms of what he was able to do from an offensive standpoint. And I think this past year, I think the work that he put in showed. I think his numbers overall improved, and that's why I say I don't think he's a finished product, because he's willing to put the work in. You're not going to have a guy that works harder than him. I spent a couple of years in the league, and I can tell you, there are a lot of guys in the league that you see get better, right? Just because they're putting the time in, they're dedicated to the craft. You could probably go down the line just off of this year's playoffs of guys that came in with a reputation of being one thing, and now you look at the way they impact the game, right? In terms of the shooting or the decision making, or them understanding who they are and growing into their roles and putting themselves in a position where they're really, really valuable pieces of a team. So I don't think Toumani's any different. Like we all, can sometimes, prejudge, and I think the thing that Toumani's going to be able to do is he's a very mature young man walking in the door. I think he's a very confident young man because he knows the work that he's willing to put in. And I think, honestly, I think it's going to be a situation where he's going to add value, walking in the door. And I think his best basketball is ahead of him. We're in an age where, you look at kids coming in at 18, 19 years old, and you want them to be, finished products, or where they will be down the road. But Toumani at 23, I think, has the maturity to come in and understand how to accept a role on a team, how to implement himself into helping everybody else have success and play to their strengths while he's playing to his strengths. And I think continue to have the humility to understand I got to continue to grow and get better and improve. And I think he'll do all those things.
Final question, Coach. Was there a moment with Toumani that you said, this guy is NBA bound?
I recruited Toumani out of high school, so I've known him for a long time. And quite honestly, Toumani and I had a lot of conversations. I always felt like just what I saw that, and coming from the league and, a few years earlier, I felt like he had a lot of things that could translate. I thought the thing that would make him maybe a second round pick or potentially a guy that would have to go undrafted and work himself into the league was that he would need to continue to develop offensively, right? But I've seen so many guys in the league be able to do that. I felt like, he was able to do that. And I think, throughout this year, we didn't have the success as a team that we hope to have this year. Some injuries and some unfortunate luck, kind of derailed some of the things we felt like we could do. But early on, looking at his versatility, looking at his size, along with that versatility, with his athleticism and what he brought to the table. Yeah, we talked about it all year that I felt like, hey, this guy's an NBA player, and to me it came down to his decision in terms of, did he want to do that now because he could have come back to school for another year. But I think at the end of the day, he felt he was ready. We felt like he could put himself in a position by going through the process that he would get some valuable feedback in terms of understanding that. He went out and I think he proved himself. He proved that he earned it. So you're talking about a guy that in April, when the season ended, probably wasn't on a lot of guys' boards in terms of a draftable guy. But here you are a couple of months later, he earned it. He went through and from Portsmouth to Chicago to 17, 18 different workouts where, I think he went out and showed people that he's a guy that belongs. So yeah, I'm excited for him, excited for Phoenix, and can't wait to watch him.
He is head coach Anthony Grant of the Dayton Flyers. Coach, best of luck this upcoming season, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, Coach.
Anytime, guys. My pleasure.
Lindsay's back.
Hey, look at that. I got different shoes on.
Magic. Thank you once again to Anthony Grant for joining us and sharing that insight on Toumani Camara. We did get a super chat throughout that from Psycho Blue. Thank you, Psycho Blue. Said, I hereby elect that his nickname be, quote, too many cameras, because every time he checks in, there's going to be a highlight reel. I hope that comes true, because that's actually kind of cute. I'm not mad at that, Psycho Blue.
I'm not going to put that pressure on the kid yet.
Yeah. I don't want to set him up for anything. I want him to just feel comfortable and confident and just doing his own thing right now. But if that does end up happening, we'll definitely make it a thing.
Yes.
Because I love that.
Okay. I don't hate it.
You don't hate it?
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either.
You know what I don't like?
What?
The fact that Psycho Blue dropped a super chat and there was no mention of Basketball Cthulhu.
I mean, maybe that's a good thing, Espo.
I didn't get to hear the Saul voice.
I know.
That makes me happy when Saul does that voice.
But we are
I have
clearly
low
not on
standards.
Basketball Cthulhu's good side.
This is
So,
true.
maybe a break will serve us well, is all I'm saying. Anyway, what's my favorite brewery in town, you ask? Great question. I'd love to
exactly
answer.
what I
Four
asked.
Peaks is my favorite brewery in town, and they're doing some really cool stuff.
That was the worst
this
alley-oop
year.
I've ever seen in my
They're
life.
giving away 11 1,000 cash grants, and one lucky teacher will win a teacher's lounge renovation provided by Four Peaks. June 30th is coming up, and that is the deadline to nominate. So go to fourpeaks4teachers.org to complete the form to enter their chance to win.
You said a teacher's lounge renovation.
Uh-huh.
I want to see what this is all about.
I want like we talked about. I want a mini bar. I want
it to look like
tabs.
HGTV. Everybody just comes in. They're like getting to work, and they do all in like 2 hours.
And then it's the reveal where they're all like, "Wow, it's so amazing! I
this is
love
so
it."
cool.
I'm never going back to class again.
Anyway, check out at Four Peaks Brewer at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and we ask that you drink responsibly. Also, shout out to Burrito Express for delivering us burritos for lunch today. Once again, I knew they were coming and had forgotten, so it was a fantastic surprise when I walked in the door and saw burritos in the break room.
You're so forgetful, Lindsay.
But honestly, it works out in my favor for things like this because it makes it so much more exciting. Like when you walk in somewhere and somebody's like, "Hey, I brought you food," and it's Burrito Express, and you're like, "Hell yeah, this is the best day ever."
Unless you just ate.
I mean, I'm still excited though because then you have something for later.
That's true. Okay.
Lindsay's going to be taking those 2 boxes to her trunk tonight.
I mean, I'm not that aggressive.
No, that's Michaela.
That's the other
She's
one
not here, though.
not
so
me.
somebody
Though.
can
That's true.
step up.
Burrito Express has multiple Valley locations. The one in Tempe, of course, is very centrally located. Make sure you guys check them out. Grab a burrito and follow Burrito Express on Twitter at BurritoEXP. All right, guys.
It's time!
Trade Machine Tuesday.
All brat.
You're a brat. And you're a brat. And you're a brat too. You're all brats.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Listen, it is Trade Machine Tuesday, but it's a little bit of a different Trade Machine Tuesday. We are going to talk about a trade that was reportedly offered on draft night and turned down. Mark Stein said in his Substack today that the Phoenix Suns engaged in advanced discussions to trade former #1 overall pick DeAndre Ayton to the Dallas Mavericks last week during the NBA draft before the talks stalled out, league sources say. That trade would have had the Suns receiving Tim Hardaway Jr., Rashawn Holmes, and JaVale McGee, and the Mavs receiving DA. And apparently what happened was the Suns did not want JaVale McGee back.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
That was one of the larger parts, at least within Mark Stein's Substack, that sort of stalled the conversation.
Even the biggest DeAndre Ayton hater looked at that trade and was like, what?
I don't know. There were certain people in this town that did not think that.
Like who? Like what?
I'm not throwing any particular person under the bus.
What did they like about that bum ass package? Please tell me
that DeAndre Ayton won't be a Son.
Like it was.
Tim Hardaway
this seems like a pretty good
terrible.
haul for DeAndre Ayton. I guess they just didn't like it.
What part of this was the good haul?
Look, so
I know.
I heard.
I need you to be the translator.
I heard the clip, and all I heard was, "I have not liked DeAndre Ayton since they drafted him, so this is a way to get him off the roster."
That's all it would be.
That's all I heard. You look at this and you go, "Okay, I get 2 subpar centers." Like, no, I'm sorry, but that Rashawn Holmes, from what I've heard, really nice. JaVale McGee seemed like a really nice guy, but they are backup centers and third string for McGee last year.
And McGee is overpaid.
And they know him. Like,
here's the truth about Rashawn Holmes that some Suns fans just will not acknowledge. Okay, he played very well as a backup to DA. He did. He played very well, I think, in his first season after he left. Like, solid. He has not played more than 60 games in a season in the last, except once in the last 4 seasons. And every other season outside of that one season was 40 or less. He averaged 3 points and 2 rebounds a game last year in 8 minutes of game action for the fucking key. Like, stop with the Rashawn Holmes stuff. That's so terrible. Like, that's not a good trade. And then JaVale McGee, we already know what JaVale McGee would bring. Once he's a starter, he's not the same JaVale. Like, just stop.
Eddie in the chat says, "How on earth do you not take that trade? McGee is tough and athletic and can potentially do a better job on Jokic. Hardaway would probably be a starter. JaVale McGee ain't guarding Nikola Jokic." Barbecue chicken. Dude. All right.
JaVale McGee is a fantastic locker room guy. He's a fantastic veteran, but he is not a starter in the NBA anymore. And he also has a lot of like respiratory issues with his asthma. And there's a limit to what JaVale McGee can give you on the court in one stint. And what we need right now from our center is not what JaVale McGee can give us.
Eddie Mensah, my brother in basketball. No. Just no. Like, McGee is not the answer to slow down Jokic. And I'm not saying DA is, but DA is a far better option than JaVale McGee is. I mean, come on, man.
Everybody's problem with, part of the problem everybody has with DeAndre Ayton is he's overpaid. JaVale McGee makes $20 million. JaVale McGee is way overpaid.
And there's 2 more years on that contract, right?
One more after this. Yeah,
this year and next year.
Like, come on. Like, this is, like I said yesterday, when you look at what the Hawks got in return for John Collins, this is the kind of crap that people pushed. And like, look, if there had been the 10th pick, like we had heard that rumor, or somebody other than JaVale McGee, maybe you take a longer look at it, but you're giving me two subpar centers and a guy that could be a nice rotation piece.
The proposed trade before, what we were hearing, had Josh Green involved in that. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you have Tim Hardaway Jr., who is a bucket, like, yeah, I'll give you that. Cool. That's the best part of this trade. And then you add Josh Green, who we saw against us a couple times last year, play solid defense. He's a hustler, young kid. So you have a future to keep him on your roster. And you need cheap players that play at a high level, especially with the core group that you have. Maybe, and you would have got the 10th pick. So maybe I could have seen that. But these dudes, these guys, what? Oh, I'd rather see Horacio Llamas come back and play for the Suns than see this dude.
Do not besmirch the great name of Horacio Llamas.
I'd rather see Joe
He's a
Klein
sweetheart.
come back and play for the Suns.
Do not besmirch the great name of Joe Klein, who still has
I'd
a
rather
sandwich
see
at Marley's.
I'd rather see Tim Kempton come off the sideline from the radio booth and play than these dudes.
Now you've gone too far and have angered me.
All right. But for real, though, like, yes, Tim Hardaway Jr. is a bucket, but we're talking about needing a starting caliber center to also help complete our roster. I don't think this is... I'm glad that the team didn't make this deal because I don't think this necessarily makes you better. Does it get DeAndre Ayton off of your team? Sure. And if that's your number one priority, then I understand why you would be like, why wouldn't you make that move? But it's not the smart basketball move. No, it's just not.
It's the dumbest priority you could have. You don't trade something worth something for nothing. That's stupid. That's just stupid.
And if you made this trade, then you could probably say Busy's definitely not coming back, and Jock probably wouldn't come back too. Because how many centers do you need on one team?
Jock would definitely come back, but that's the problem. You'd have 3 centers, and Jock by a mile is getting 40 minutes a game.
Well, unless you anticipate, right, Jock being your starting center, and then Rashawn and JaVale being your 2 backups.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But that's a lot to put on Jock's shoulders too.
If you've got 2 centers, you have no center. Like if you trade for these 2 guys and you're like, look, we got 2 centers that are going to replace DeAndre Ayton. You go, yeah, you got none because these guys aren't the guys to play center. And what we had originally heard about that original Dallas deal was that they wanted to turn that around to flip it for another player. You ain't getting anybody for Rashawn Holmes, JaVale McGee, and Tim Hardaway Jr.
No. And to be fair, nobody's really clamoring for Rashawn Holmes. And I appreciate that, chat, because that shows me that you know what's up.
They've grown.
But JaVale McGee, like, I like JaVale McGee as a backup to the backup. Like,
and if he was making $15 million less than he is.
Like when he was with the Suns, he was making $5 million that year. Okay, cool. That's a great ad. And I do believe he added something on the floor from time to time. But you saw when he was starting how terrible that was. He could not last. He played like 20 minutes a game, got in early foul trouble. He was a disaster starting. Off the bench, he gave you a little juice in spurts, and that's the best thing you can hope for is spurts. But you need something more reliable than just 15 minutes a game. Wait, then the backup is Rashawn Holmes? What? No.
Yeah, Kevin Durant is your center at that point.
Yeah. I mean, listen, DA was terrible in the playoffs last year. Okay, cool. But still is your better option than these 2 dudes. No way, Dallas.
Obviously, this is not happening, or else it would have already happened. The Suns, I'm assuming, were like, no, thank you. Come back if you want to chat about something else at a later time. Within that same article that Mark Stein put out, he said sources with knowledge of the Phoenix-Dallas trade discussion said a resumption of the Ayton talks could not be ruled out. So they may be continuing to have conversations to see if they can actually come to a package in which both teams feel like they are getting substantially better. But I would assume this is a completely off the table because if it was and both sides were in agreement, it probably would have gone down.
Okay, so let's just play this game for shits and giggles, okay? Kyrie and Luka, obviously, no chance. All right. Who else on that roster, if you're not getting the 10 pick, which was originally proposed before, who else on that roster can you look at and say, oh, yeah, without a doubt, we want these 3 guys? Like
Davis
who?
Bertans. No, I'm just kidding.
Dallas doesn't have much.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't. So they can revisit that shit all day long, but it ain't going anywhere. I drive by the same beautiful freaking Lexus every time I go home. Doesn't mean I'm going to get it.
But one day you might.
No, it'll be broke down and then I don't want it anymore, just like these 2 dudes.
I mean, we could do a heist if you want. I mean, that's because that's what Dallas is trying to do to the Suns. They're trying to rob them.
We could at least try. I mean,
you
can't knock them for trying.
The people that are saying, hey, there's no value in this guy, there's still value. Like right now, maybe there's not a market for him, but we're not talking about a guy that is completely incapable of playing basketball. I hate this mindset with DeAndre Ayton that he's completely incapable of playing basketball. Well, a lot of people treat it like that.
All
Take a
right,
bad
one
run.
thing from the chat. Jake It or Leave It said, Gambo and Haynes, quote, Suns aren't trading Ayton. Y'all are still talking about trades, laughing face emoji. Go back and watch yesterday's show if you missed it, because we did acknowledge all of that, and we talked about DeAndre Ayton and the Suns moving forward. This is just a trade scenario that was rumored to have been, or reported by Mark Stein today
This morning.
as something that was brought up on draft night, and it gives us more insight as far as what teams were offering the Suns. So that's why we're talking about it. We're putting this out there so that we all get an idea of what Ayton's basically trade value is per other teams, what other teams value Ayton and what they're offering. And so it gives a explanation why the Suns maybe have decided to keep DeAndre Ayton, because they could have been shopping him beforehand, saw what was being offered for him, and felt like he was a better option on this team than what they could have gotten in return. So it's perspective, and it's a new report. So that's why we're discussing it. We didn't actually come up with this trade as something that the Suns should do. It was a reported trade, so we're talking about it.
That'll be next week.
If you hate us, circling the drain, so to speak, and rehashing other things that have happened because people have said, oh, well, that's not happening. Well, there's been plenty of things that have been said that were not going to happen that have happened. KD was off the table, and then we got KD. Bradley Beal wasn't even in the picture for a lot of accounts. Hell, we wrote it off on this show alone. We're like, there's no way. And then they got Bradley Beal. Like
Bradley Beal forces way.
I mean, yeah. Listen, there's a bunch of stuff that we're going to talk about. Also, if you don't want to go back and talk about some of the stuff, you might not want to tune in August and September when there is no NBA news.
No, that's
and
not
we're going
true.
to talk about everything.
Don't
That's
listen
not
to
true.
Saul.
You
Tune in
want
in
to
August
tune in
September.
August and September because we're going to have a lot of really fun shows. I've already planned a whole one
We're
around
actually-
tinfoil hat conspiracies, and it's going to be a blast.
I actually planned a whole one around Take It or Leave It. So
it's going to be a lot of fun.
we'll talk all
anyway,
about you, buddy.
what's my favorite gas station, you ask? Great question. I'd love to tell
Stop
you.
gassing them up.
Hold on.
It's Circle K, of
She's
course.
like the guy that throws the ball off the backboard to get the extra rebound to get a triple double. Like,
I can't rely on the two of you to throw me a lob, so I gotta
Lindsay,
help myself.
what's your favorite gas station?
Great question. That's
All
what
right.
I'd love to tell you. It's Circle K, of course.
Okay.
One, because they have fantastic gas, they have the best snacks, and of course, my favorite part, they've got Polar Pops. You can't go wrong with a Polar Pop in the middle of summer, especially in Phoenix. Make sure you are not missing out on all the great stuff that Circle K has to offer. And right now, if you text PHNX to 31310 to join their SMS subscriber club, you're going to get a buy one, get one free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. Head to circlek.com/store-locator to find Circle K's near you. And of course, Saul mentioned that we are going to Summer League and the shenanigans will probably be off the charts. One of the shenanigans, of course, being the products that our friends over at OG's create. We love our friends over at OG's. It is getting toasty in the valley. We're not looking forward to the crazy heat that has already decided to start joining us for the summer. Although I will say thank you for taking your sweet time with coming. But we are looking forward to what OG's is cooking up. Pink lemonade gummies hit the shelves last week. It is a limited edition gummy. It's a fresh, tangy lemon with a hint of red berry and plenty of sugar flavor. And like I said, it's limited edition, so make sure you can get your hands on it while you still can. They've got the Aquaberry Sleep Edition gummy, the new Strawberries and Cream Happy Balance gummy, and of course their mixed bag where you get all the fruits and all the cream flavors mixed in there. OG's does not miss when it comes to flavor and effect, so get your pink lemonade gummies while you can. Check out OG's online at ogsbrands.com and on Instagram at ogsbrands. You can also find their products at your local dispensary, but you must be 21 years or older to purchase.
Can I say something?
Yes.
All right. So I made the fatal mistake of saying all DA needed to do against Jokic was blank. Hey, listen.
One of the all-time great clips.
Listen, nobody is stopping Jokic. Nobody. There's not a single person in the league that is stopping Jokic. What you're hoping for, somebody in DA's position, whether it be DA himself or somebody else, is that they can at least not even provide resistance, but a little bit, and also stop everything else from happening around him, right? Like when you see the opportunity to make a play defensively, being that rim protector that the Suns need, that's what you're hoping for. So we got to stop saying, oh, well, we need this guy to be able to slow down Jokic. There's not a guy out there that's going to slow down Jokic. There's just not. Like that's going to be very, very reliant on everybody else helping said player stop Jokic, double teams, triple teams. You know, you're going to force some action. You're going to throw some things at him that he hasn't seen. Like, but Jokic is quite literally the best basketball player in the world right now.
I could slow him down. I'd just trip him.
There is one way to slow down Nikola Jokic.
Oh, geez.
No. Injuries to Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr.
This is true.
That's the way you slow down Nikola Jokic.
I mean, hey, and the Nuggets were very lucky in regard to that because especially MPJ has had a history of injury. He was squeaky clean the entire playoffs. Murray was squeaky clean the entire playoffs. Like they had everything go for them. And you need that from time to time. You need some luck to go your way. Hell, I'm still convinced that if Chris Paul doesn't get injured against the Lakers and then re-aggravate us somehow, because we saw him multiple times do crossovers against the Bucks in the finals, he just lost the ball because the nerve in his shoulder was still jacked up. Like, I'm still convinced if that doesn't happen, the Suns win a championship. You just need some luck to go your way. We haven't had that. I hope we get it this year, but the Nuggets got it this year. Good for them. They took advantage. There.
You've seen the movie Celtic Pride, right?
Man. I'm going to say no because I don't remember anything from that movie.
So supposedly the Jazz, the Celtics are in the finals. Two Celtics fans kidnap
the star player for the
star
Celtics.
players who was Damon Wayans. So I'm thinking here, so we do our own version of this. We fly over to Serbia. We kidnap Jokic's horse.
Yes.
And that's the way we can slow down Nikola Jokic.
Okay.
Yes.
We just FaceTime on the horse a bunch.
Head
Yeah.
games here.
Yes.
I see it.
Yeah.
I think I'm on some international list.
You just got added to a list for sure.
International horse. I guess we'll
Listen, here's the thing. We started out this show on a really good note. We had a great chat with Toumani. He was super sweet. Then things got real sour and spicy there in the last segment, and I didn't like it. So let's keep this part wholesome and just sweet. We know our 2 star players on the Phoenix Suns are bonding over basketball and vacation. They're working out together in the Bahamas. This is great news. We love to see it.
Hold on. DA from the Bahamas.
God, I knew we were
Katie
going to go
booked
there.
in the Bahamas. Is it connected? Where's Kate or where's
DeAndre?
Where's DeAndre?
He's probably just stretching off the side of the camera.
No, actually, I do have it confirmed that he was at the other end of the court.
There you go.
No. He's holding the camera.
If that's what you want to believe, so that way you can sleep at night, so be it. Let's just go with that.
He's holding the camera. I mean,
Exactly.
He's filming for
Exactly.
them.
I mean,
look, and then they're there, and this was supposedly filmed on Monday, and Bradley Beal's press conference is on Thursday. They're going to be back in time from Bahamas. Come on, baby mama. Whatever you want to say.
They were already here last week together.
You asked for it. You said wholesome, and I had to bring out every conspiracy theory I could
because
think
it's already been one of those days.
also, Jose, listen, I'm sorry, Lindsay. I'm really sorry. I'm about to blow this bubble right now. He's saying that I have recency bias because DA stopped Jokic in 2021. Go back and look at the stats, bro. That's not what happened. He slowed him down to a degree, but he didn't stop him. Like, dude was still averaging over 25, 15, and 10 that series. Like, he had nobody to pass to, though. That's the problem. And then he had it, and there you go.
He had Austin Rivers.
Yeah, he had Austin Rivers. There you go.
Fuck you, Composito, or whatever his name was.
I'm kidding, Brian. DA was not at the other end of the court. I'm sorry.
See what you did? I mean, to be honest, it's already happening on social media when this thing came out.
Who cares?
Like, where's this? Where's that?
They're
allowed to go on vacation.
Yeah.
They're allowed to take time off. They don't have to record it every single time they're in the gym. And if they do decide to record it, that's their prerogative. It's okay. We're gonna be okay.
Katie's gonna slide into Saul's DMs and give him a piece of his mind.
Oh no!
I hope so. Listen, I one of the things that I love about Kevin Durant is that he is not afraid to go to come down to our level and talk to us about random things. That if he feels like he's getting disrespected, he'll step up and he'll stand up for himself. And I love athletes that do that want to be a part of the conversation. I don't know where this thing came out where people were like, you just got to ignore it. You got to be bigger than that. Why are you stooping to their level? I'm like, so what? He wants to be a part of the conversation. I'm all for it. I'm not going to besmirch him for it. I'm here for it. I want more of that. I wish Devin Booker would be more active on social. I want to see him bag on some people because there's a lot of people out there that deserve to be bagged on. Give it to me.
What I will say about that whole shenanigans is that we, as people in sports media and things of that nature, let's be honest, we technically ride the coattails of athletes. We have jobs and we make money by talking about what they do. So if we say something out of pocket and they want to come at us to correct it or to defend themselves,
bingo,
they should be allowed to, because without them, we don't have jobs. And if you want to throw a fit about that, well, sir or ma'am, maybe you should reconsider your stance on that because you're wrong.
Because I got 2 words for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
look,
that's wrong place.
Jason McIntyre, I'm just going to call him out. He flamed KD, and then he got a DM from KD basically calling him out for his shit. And then instead of, being normal in media, he decides to, air the dirty laundry to show the DM so he can get some he can get some pub off of it.
No, it was a DM.
No, it was a DM, which is even worse. I'm sorry. Like, this whole thing is a non-starter. You want athletes to act like normal people. You want them to show you something, to give you a little of their personality. And then when they do it, you flame them constantly. And of course they're going to stop answering things. They're not going to treat you a certain way. And guys like that give the rest of media the bad name because now Kevin Durant's just like, a bunch of jackasses are out here.
Well, to be fair, half of them are.
I mean,
oh yeah, for
McIntyre
sure.
in particular.
I was going to say half of us are.
That,
Maybe I should lump us.
But also that Twitter Spaces last week was absolute dog shit. Like, it really was. I listened to it. I was like, "Are you serious?" And then KD came in and defended himself, and I was like, "Good.
That's cool.
Good. That's dope. Like, you literally have a headline talking about KD's not a top 5 player. Of course, my man's going to be offended by that. Like, bro, yes, I am. Like." Did you just forget because I had a little slip up in the playoffs, and his slip up was still like 30 points a game? What are we doing here? Also, I do want to say this because I literally experienced this firsthand. Back when I was at the U of A my last year, Alonzo Trier was coming out for the draft, and I thought it was a mistake. And I tweeted, Alonzo Trier is in between 2 positions, point guard and shooting guard. And I don't know if he's going to make it in the league because he doesn't have a discernible skill set because he's not big enough to play 2 and he's too small and he didn't have the handles to play the 1. And he wasn't a facilitator. He was a shoot first guard. And Alonzo Trier came at me on Twitter, basically called me fake and basically said that, I was fake to him this whole time. And I was like, I didn't say anything disrespectful. And guess who's not in the league right now? Like, it's him. And he didn't get drafted. He was undrafted and he made his way. Luckily for him, he made his way. He got a 2-year contract with the Knicks, $7 million. But right now he's fighting for his basketball life in the G League. I wasn't wrong on that. And I defended myself to him. And that's fine. But he had every right to come at me and be like, and say how he felt. I'm cool with that. He's not my friend. That's fine. But I'm going to tell it like it is. That's all right.
So you're the dick. No,
yeah, I'm the dick. I'm the asshole.
Okay.
Maybe I should ask that. Am I the asshole? And then explain the situation.
Anyway.
And Lindsay just immediately, yes.
Yes. On to the next thing.
Let's wrap up the show with some positive news, okay? We just got word that Toumani is going to wear number 20. And we have a picture of it. See, I think the reason why I didn't want to answer it at the beginning of the show was because he wanted to wait for the photo op. He wanted to have the jersey, do the whole announcement. And I think that's sweet.
So I knew it, but I wasn't going to say it after he said that. I was
there you go.
Let him have his moment for his country.
Exactly.
So you want your moment?
Toumani Camara will wear number 20. Hopefully we will see him at Summer League.
You do it.
Thank you guys
Chris
for
Lopez.
joining us.
Back when I was U of A, I tweeted. Didn't know tweeting was a thing back in '92.
Oh,
I was in
you
high school
clearly
in
don't
92.
watch
Chris,
Outside Shots with Eddie Johnson and Saul Bookman.
who was older than me by 20 years, by the way.
Just kidding. Just
Old
kidding.
men yell at clouds.
Okay. Let's all take a deep breath. Tomorrow will be a nicer show. I am speaking it into existence now.
Was this a bad show?
No, but we all got spicy at one point
Did
or
we?
the other. Yes, me, you,
got
Espo, and the
spicy?
chat.
What'd you get
Yes.
spicy about?
About us getting mad that players stand up for themselves. We all got spicy at one point or another. Tomorrow will be a little bit sweeter, like the Sour Patch Kids. We're spicy today, sour today, sweet tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. And until then, you can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_Suns. You can follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Saul at Saul_Bookman.
Love you too, Chris.
And of course, you can follow Espo at Espo. Espo, take us home.
Just remember, if you say something stupid online, the Slim Reaper might be coming for you. Ahoy, hoy.
Megas in control and he ain't never gonna let go. PHNX though, Lindsey, Gerald, Espo. Saw past the ball, we here to turn up the tempo. Got to understand me, I'll always rep the family. Rally in the valley.